Welcome to my kitchen, everybody. Tonight should be a good one. I can't wait. Cannot wait for all this stuff. We've got a big one. I'm just trying to connect to the live chat here real quick. Give everybody a minute to get in. And we're just going to go from there. All right. And if anybody's in, if you could hit the like button for me so I know that everybody can hear me and see me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we are here at the live stream. I'm connected to the chat. And here we go. All right. Okay, so we've got a lot of stuff to do tonight. So I'm going to jump right on in. We're going to get the camera up here and rolling. But we've got, what I'm going to do first is we're going to start with, we're going to go over what I got going on first. What I got going on first is we're going to make a Southern classic side dish, which is cream peas and onions. You know, generally you'd use a pearl onion for that. Hey, Greg Hart, what's up, buddy? Now, normally what you'd use for this is you'd use about 8 ounces of blanched pearl onions, and you would use about 2.5 cups of frozen peas. But tonight I have what we call ramp. Now, if you've never seen ramp, I'm going to try and make sure you guys can see it as well as possible on this little camera. But what it is ramp is a wild Appalachian part of the leek family. It comes up just for a brief time in the spring. Occasionally, I believe, now don't quote me on this, but it should also come up in the fall, I believe, as well. But it's sort of like the morel mushroom. It's something that you don't find in stores. It's hard to recreate, and it has a long gestation period before it's actually ready to go. So it's kind of one of those things that people harvest it very particularly. Like I said, it's almost like a green onion, but it has every flavor of that kind of family in it. It smells, tastes. It smells like a garlic. It smells like an onion. It smells like a leek. Hey Val, what's going on? White Mountain Girl, there she is. And but it's one of those things that, like I said, it's part of the leek family, and it just has so many different flavors in it. But the one thing about it is that it's very, very pungent. So instead of using 8 ounces of pearl onions and blanching those, I've used 5 ounces of the ramp, and I've got a little bit of diced potato in there, and we're going to blanch those up for about, I don't know, 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're gonna work on the cream sauce for the cream peas and onions. I mean, that's going to take a little work. So you might want to buckle up for this one. There's going to be a lot of stuff tonight. We're going to be doing the giveaway toward the end, and for the giveaway, I just want to say it now. If you're not subscribed and like the tonight's video, then you're not eligible for the win at the end. So I'm giving everybody a chance at the beginning, which most people in here are already subscribed. But just in case for the viewers that aren't logged into the chat, you'd have to be subscribed to the channel to win. That's just the only way it is. Now, I do have to say that it's not sponsored by YouTube, because it's not. It's sponsored by me. So I'll be the one doing all the giveaways. But we've got the KFC Recreate going to happen. We've got a Lodge Skillet unboxing tonight. So we've got a lot of stuff to get into. So let me make sure my camera angle is sort of good. And we'll go ahead and like I said, we've got 4 to 5 ounces of the ramp that's been cleaned. Now ramp, when you get it, it has a huge plume of just broad leaves on it. It's hard to describe what it is. If you guys, if you're really interested, you can look it up on there and check it out. But it is what it is. That's one of the deals that and it has a really long, either white or purple top to it. Once you cut the really big broad leaves off. Unfortunately, I wanted to show you guys the whole thing, but I had these shipped to me this week, and they went through processing for a few days, and they were picked toward the end of the season, so the leaves didn't make it. They were just mush, and that happens, which was kind of unfortunate because I like to use the whole thing, the leaves, and I like to dehydrate. Because you can eat them. I like to dehydrate those and make spices and seasonings out of that whole thing, spices and seasoning mixtures. So what we're gonna do is, first off, we're just gonna go right over to here where I've got some water boiling. Got some water boiling over here, and we're just gonna put those in, and we're gonna let those start blanching for a few minutes. And we're gonna set our timer for, we're just gonna go 5 minutes on that, and let those go, and then we'll start, we'll let those blanch up, and then we'll take them off. But in the meantime, here in the back, let me make sure I got my camera going in the right spot. I've got in the back there, I've got what was, before I started it up, we've got 4 ounces of Kerrygold butter, and we're gonna make just a little bit of a roux, just a small roux with this thing. And what you're gonna need for this, if you're gonna do it the recipe way, you're gonna need 8 ounces of pearl onions. You're gonna need 4 tablespoons of butter, either salted or unsalted, that's up to you. I'm going with salted in this, Kerrygold. And then 4 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups of milk, 2.5 cups of frozen peas, salt and pepper to taste, and then a splash of cream there toward the end. But we're gonna let that go. And then for the chicken strips, now I've been saying that I'm gonna break this out, but what we've got as far as the star for the show tonight is I've got a BSR chicken fryer. Because I mean, if you're gonna do chicken, you might as well do it in a chicken fryer, right? So we've got this, and this thing I found at Goodwill, and there are still good things out at Goodwill, if you can see that. I mean, that's as smooth as butter on the inside, and it's a really, really old one. I mean, this is a really, really old Red Mountain. It just has the basic 8 and the mold mark on the inside, and that's about it. And the only real problem with it, the only thing that I had trouble with, was it just had a little bit of pitting on the bottom. So somebody at one point had this on the old cook stove. So I think that adds a little patina to it. But I'm pretty stoked to use that, so we'll be using that tonight too. We've got a nice 90-year-old chicken fryer we can use. And I'm gonna let this skillet heat up. I actually had these mixed up. I had this one on and that one not on. So, been one of those things. Thank you, Cynthia. I knew you'd like it. Even Handsome Stone, how are you? So we'll say hi to everybody that's in, that I can see anyway. Greg Hart, Cynthia. Let's see. Hey, Radagast, what's up? Frank Murillo, how are you doing, buddy? Yeah, so we've got quite a few folks in for tonight. Really stoked about it. Like I said, we've got these blanching up. And the other thing we're going to use is one of these things I rave about all the time is Kentucky seasoned flour. If you want something to taste like Kentucky Fried Chicken, this is it. I don't know what kind of magic they got in it because it just says spices on the side. So I got a feeling that there's a particular 11 herbs and spices in there because it's pretty darn close. But what we're going to do is, okay, so we got our Kerrygold's bubbling up. And then I'm going to take, now what I'm not too worried about, I'm making kind of a roux, but not necessarily the roux like you do for gravy. We're just going to get this going with just a little bit of flour. And we just got to get this mixed up, get it in there, kind of get it a little brown. So we got 4 tablespoons of regular all-purpose flour that we'll throw in there. Over top of the boiling pot of water. 3 and 4. There we go. And 4 of those. That off to the side because I'm going to need that. Now what I do with that seasoned flour, by the way, in case I don't say it later on, which I'll probably forget, and is that what I will probably, what I got to do with the seasoned flour is, the one thing I don't like about it is that it's really, really salty. So, I cut it in half. I go half and half. I do half of the Kentucky kernel, and then I do half of regular all-purpose flour to kind of take some of the saltiness out of it. So we got that going with this. I don't have that up very, very high. Because like I said, I just want this to brown, and then we're going to start adding the other stuff into it. We're just going to slowly add the milk and a little bit of cream to it. And then back here I've got Old Faithful, my pickleware best to cook in, the one with the pitted bottom, like that. So let's see. Let me see. I need to get my glasses on so I can see what you guys are doing. Okay, so the timers went off for that. And we're going to take the blanched. I'm just going to drain this off right quick. And put these into a bowl, and we'll set these in, and we'll mix those in when we put the peas in. And that'll be how we do that. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to reuse that. Now normally I would keep, there we go, those are blanched up. And I did like I did with the Coco Vaughn, the pearl onions in there. I cut little crisscrosses in the root end of it so they don't explode. That's become one of the things I really like doing. Turn that off so I don't put my hand on it. I was hoping for a little beaks cam too, but let's see. Hello everyone. Hi from North Carolina. Hey from North Carolina. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Got that going. And we just want this to brown. We don't need it to, you know, go crazy with it or anything, and then we'll start adding everything to it there in the back. Does everybody see that okay? Yeah, everybody can see that okay. And we got that part in there. So there's this. I think that's getting pretty close. And what I'll do is that I just want to get that flour flavor out from it, if that makes any sense. I'm not really trying to make anything too particular with that other than to get that flour taste out, which I've pretty much done here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my blanched ramp and potatoes into this. And we're going to get that mixed in. And then I'm going to do my 2 cups of milk. And we're going to go 2 cups of milk in there, right along there with it. I really just wanted to get that out of the way, but we're going to put that in there like so, a little bit at a time, get that creamed up. Now I used to make this and I didn't do that little step, and I never had any problem with not doing it. But we want to get this to where it's creamed down again. Like I said, I've done it without doing the flour in there like that, and I've never had a problem with that either, but I wanted to do it this way. So we're just gonna be stirring for a minute and get that down in there. But I wanted to get that ramp flavor. And like I said, there'd be twice as many onions in there as this, but I don't deem that to be too, I don't want to over ramp. Ramp is such a strong flavor that you can really, really go overboard with it. So, let's see. The show isn't working. Missed the scratch and sniff button. Oh, yeah. No, not so far. But we're just gonna stir and get that going. But I want this to kind of break up that roux that we've sort of made, semi-roux. But I wanted the flavors in there. Now, a lot of times if you're doing, like if I were to do sausage gravy, I would do this whole thing separately without the flavor. But I want all that flavor from the potatoes, and I want a little extra cook time for the potatoes, and I want a little extra cook time for the pearl onions, or the ramp, I should say. I'm gonna say pearl onions a bunch. Just let that sit and kind of chill for a second, and I'll look at the comments section and see what's going on back there while I get something to drink. Let's see, skipping a lot. Let's see, hi everyone. Had a hard time writing on here now. Oh, well, I hope it's not on my end, Radagast. I hope not, anyway. Let's see. So we got that. We're just gonna, I can't really get away from it, but it's really starting out, if you can see it, we'll bring you in closer for this now that I got that other thing out of the way. But we'll bring that in. And if you can see, I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit because I don't want it to bubble. I just want it to be hot. Just at the edge of a bubble and get that creaminess in there without having any of that flour residue left over. That's starting to cream up real nice. Because once we add in the peas, we're gonna get a lot of moisture into that. And I'm just gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna do a little splash. I don't have cream, but I have half and half. So, and you don't want it, there's no real specific. You just wanna add a little splish to it, and that's it. Sometimes the chat line evaporates. Let's see, last week my mouse died and I'm using a new mouse. Oh, I got you, Radagast. Yeah, getting new technology sucks, I think. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my stove up to temperature for the unboxing, because we got a lot of stuff we're gonna make, to be really, really honest. So that's looking really thick, as almost like gravy, but once I throw those peas in there, that's really gonna cook down. And I'm actually gonna throw it, and I'll throw those peas in here. I think that's pretty good. So I think we're gonna leave that go and put the peas in and get those in there. Let's throw those in and get all that into there. There we go with that. And get that. There we are. There we go. Now for the sake of space, I'm going to take this out of this pan once this kind of thins down a little bit, and then I'm going to put it in the Cynthia Wesley pan that I had there before, because I can fit that in the back real easy. Well, I guess I can leave this in there. I guess I can. I've got another lid over here I can throw on there. But we'll let that all, it's going to have to warm back up, if you can imagine that. With all that moisture, and we're going to let that sit off to the side on a really low heat and let all the moisture come out of those frozen peas. And the peas do need to be frozen when you do this. It doesn't seem like it, but they really do. It helps because it'll release that moisture on a really slow level and get that where we want it to be. Okay, so we got that. Got that going. And I think we should be about lid ready. Now, once again, I do not have a pick favorite wear lid, which is one of the things that I'm trying to find for my collection. Let's see. May need to add more butter. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. We might, if the moisture doesn't come out, yeah, absolutely, we will add a little bit more butter. But there's there's 4 tablespoons in there right now. And we're going to go with that. And if it needs it, Val, we definitely will. We definitely will. But that's real nice and thick. And we'll set that off to the side. Put that over there. Let me see if I can grab a lid that I believe fits this. And set that off to the side. Which, let's see if that fits on there. Yeah, that large lid fits right on there. So let me move some stuff out of the way. And we'll go and move that off to the side so it can kind of simmer up on this back burner over here. And we'll bring over this champ and put this Lodge lid on there that fits. And we'll turn that down. We'll turn that back burner on and let that sort of sit over there and simmer. And while we're doing that, we're going to fill this up with some oil. Can we still, it's still there in the picture. We're gonna fill this up with some just regular old vegetable oil because that's what I got laying around. There we go. Nice amount of vegetable oil. There we go. And we'll get that started warming up. Well, I guess I could have just thrown the last little bit in there. What am I gonna do with that, right? There we go. Voila. We'll just get that kind of warming. Because we're going to want to get that up to about 350 when we do our chicken strips. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got this one off sitting to the side, simmering. We've got our oil getting started for our chicken strips. And what we're going to do next is we will make a little spot here. And we'll get to the unboxing and talk a little bit about that while everything else is kind of marinating around. Let me move you just over to the side there just a second. Get these off out of here, get this off out of here. And I'm gonna need that eventually here in a little bit. So anyway, but what I wanted to show you guys is the latest from Lodge from the Cornbread Festival, which I think is a really cool pan this year. This is this year's 25th anniversary Cornbread Festival skillet. So there we go. And these are actually nice and smooth. I was really surprised at the inside of this. It's really smoothed out. I don't know if you guys can see it on there, but it's a pretty smooth pan all the way around. So it looks a little, as I'm looking at the monitor and saying it's pretty smooth, it looks a little rough, but it's not bad. It really isn't. And once again, as Lodge, famously as Lodge is, the outside is a lot smoother than the inside, but I think it's a pretty cool little pan overall. And the really cool thing I think that's cool about this year's pan is that it's actually a number 6. And if you're a collector or you guys know much, like everybody out here knows a lot about cast iron, a 6 is pretty hard to come by. And even for my basic Lodge collection, to finish it off, I finished it off with a number 6 from the second spin down at Cornbread Festival in 2022. So the 25th. So here's your Cornbread Festival pan. Yeah, Cynthia, like I said, it's a number 6. Yeah, there's no helper handle. They don't go. Let me see. Let me just look at my. I've got a 7 over there. I've got a Lodge number 7. And let me look and see if, I don't think that has a helper handle on it, but I don't want to tell you. And then it doesn't. Yeah. So up until a number 8, none of them, they don't have the helper handles. But so tonight we were going to mix up, and I'm not going to make homemade cornbread, but just to agitate all the Southerners, I'm going to make some sweet cornbread in the Martha White. And I chose Martha White this time because Martha White's the one that sponsors one of the big sponsors of the National Cornbread Festival every year. And when you go to National Cornbread Festival, this is what everybody's going to be handing out. They're going to be handing out all kinds of Martha White stuff, and you can walk out of there with a garbage bag full of Martha White stuff. So instead of making my own and being pressed for this, like I said, because we are going to be kind of pressed for time, so we've got a lot of stuff going on, I'm just going to use the mix. But I'm using Martha White because of that. So there you go. I'll check check everybody's comment section real quick. Everybody seems to be, explains no helper handle. But I think that's really cool that it's a number 6 because, like I said, to complete my Lodge full basic collection from 3 to the 17-inch skillet, I couldn't get it. It wasn't available online it was sold out, and it had been sold out for a long time, and I had to get it when I went to Cornbread Festival. My actual number, regular lodge number 6, not this one. This adds another number 6 to my collection, which is pretty cool. So, you know, that's something I think is pretty. I think that's pretty cool. Oh shoot, sorry. Of course, I had to kick that, but there we go. Let's go back to that. Sorry about that. I got to kick that at least once during these live streams, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up my. I'm going to do my mix real quick, and we're going to get that into the oven as soon as we're heated up to 400 degrees, and get that made, and then we'll start on our chicken. So that's how we're doing all that. Where is the Beaks? The Beaks is sleeping right now, but I was hoping she'd be in here. I woke her up right before all this, took her on a little outside adventure so she could powder her nose and be all ready for the show, and then she's back in there. It's really cold here. It's not cold, but it's like low 60s with the wind, and I've got the house opened up. So she's been out there hiding her nose underneath the blankets on the couch. So that's where the Beegs is. But she'll be out here eventually. If I promise the Beegs, I'm going to deliver the Beegs. So anyway, let's get started by getting this pan greased up anyway. And I just like to use regular old butter. I know a lot of people use a lot of different stuff and all that, but I just grease my pan with regular old butter. And I seem to have pretty good luck with that. I've already washed it. Now this didn't come with an insert, which I was kind of surprised because sometimes I guess my one from 2022, when I went and got it, had one in it. And this one did not have an insert in it. So it was just the collector's pan by itself. Last year's didn't either when I got it. So I don't know. I like collecting these. Ever since I went and got that first one. I don't know if I'm going to go and make a big deal about getting the other ones. But this one anyway, this one's been I've liked to have gotten them since I started going. And since I couldn't go this year, thankfully to my friend Artie Bliss, who was nice enough to pick me up one and send it to me, I greatly appreciate it. And thank you, Artie, for that. Artie's also the one, if you remember from my from a previous cast, Artie is a collector of very rare cast iron, and he's the one that hooked me up with the ramp as well. He lives in the Appalachian area, and he hunts ramp every year. And this year, since I couldn't leave town, he was nice enough to send me ramp, and he was nice enough to pick me up one of these skillets and send it to me. So thanks, Artie. Appreciate you. And if you get a chance, go to Adopted Iron, his channel. Check his stuff out. He has a channel as well, so there you go. So let me do that. Let me get some butter, and we will grease up this pan right quick. Now I do use unsalted butter for these instead of salted butter, because salted butter will burn your stuff. So we're just going to use. Let me break out a stick of this butter. And because all I have out right now is Kerrygold, and I want to get this greased and ready to go to make so we can get that in there and get that pan. I'm going to go ahead and get that pan heated up, get that out of the way, and then I'm going to get, I forgot, and like always, there's got to be a pan in the oven that I forgot about. So let me fish that thing out real quick. Sorry guys. I didn't realize there was a pan already in there. But like any other person that has cast iron, there's always got to be at least one pan in the oven at all times. But it was on the top, it was on the under the broiler rack, so I didn't see it when I first did that. Let me get some oven mitts and a trivet to set that off the side, and then we'll keep going. That's not going to stop us for more than another 10 or 20 seconds. So I'll get that stuff out of the way and get this, and put that over there. We'll get this bad boy out of here. There we go. That's sitting right there for just a minute. Move that out of that way and get our cornbread pan ready to, our cornbread pan's in there. So we get that sizzling and get that ready to go. All right, and this is my one pan. If everybody's got one pan like this is my one pan that never has anywhere to be. It has the lid that goes with it, and on my rack I just don't have that much room to put those. So I like onions, but my friend only likes raw onions. Yeah, there's people like that. Let's see, Bob the Builder, is he in here? Oh, and Fuzz. Hey Fuzz, what's up, buddy? So yeah, so we got that, and let me figure out a spot to put this that's not going to burn the heck out of something, because I totally dropped the ball on that part. So we'll get that out of the way. There we go. There we go. Get another trivet, because Lord knows I don't have a lot of things, but I have a gazillion trivets, which always seems to come in handy. Shark attack. And there's that. So we'll get that out of the way. Okay, so that's safely put away. So we've got our, we'll leave that trivet out so that we can set our cornbread skillet on there. Video froze. I don't know. There we go. Let's see. Put it in. I do have to stir the peas and onions real quick. We'll see how those are doing. Let's see how these are doing. Let's pan over to there. Let's see what's up. There we go. We'll turn that down just a little bit more. I think we'll just leave it at simmer. Yeah, those are coming along really nice. Real nice. I might even drop just a smidge more milk into that, just to keep them honest. There we go. And just a smidge more milk into there. I think I'm going to use cream. I think I'm going to use half and half instead of milk. We'll go that route. Just throw a little bit more milk into there. There we go. Yeah, that's more of the, that's what we're looking for right there. And a little bit more butter as well. And a little bit more butter. So we'll do that, and we'll add just a smidge more butter into that. And that's where we're going to be with that. There we go. So I don't want to give it too much of a milk flavor. I don't want to milk it up. So we got that into there. Everybody see okay? Yeah, I should have pulled you guys closer, but that was sort of a last second thing. So there we go. We'll add this butter into there. Bring you guys over here. You can see what consistency I'm dealing with, and get that butter. You know, 'cause I've got this down to simmer too. But we're not getting any stick in there, so that's nice. Get that off. Get that peat, like that. Get that ramp out of there. There we go. Perfect. There we go, right there. We got that simmer going, and that's where we're gonna leave that. And now we're gonna mix up the cornbread. Booyah. Right to here. So we're gonna add in our egg. There we go. The egg in there. Move that out of the way. Got a rag. That out of the way. And we're out a half a cup of milk into here. Out of habit, I put my milk away. Okay. So we got that. So we got our milk cup over here. There we go. A half cup of cow juice. There we go. Put that in. Put that off to the side because I'm going to need that for the chicken. There we go. And then we'll rip open our package here and get that going and get that done. There we go, little Martha White, sweet cornbread, sweet cornbread. Just the way everybody south of the Mason-Dixon line loves it. You can say you don't, but you know you do. You can say you don't like it like that, but I know better. So that's heated up to 400. Let me see here. Larry Perkins, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Granny Graham, hello. Hello. As I'm agitating everybody south of the Mason-Dixon line here. Got everybody going, which I like to do. But one thing I do like to do with my cornbread that a lot of folks don't like to do is I get just a little bit, don't matter, and it does not matter what recipe I use, it gets a little cracked corn of black pepper in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lake Hickory guy, I went sweet cornbread. Right in front of your eyes with no regrets. No remorse and no regrets. Don't need to over stir, but I want to get all that goodness down in there. And I'm going to set this off to the side for just 1 second while I get that pan back out of there, and we're going to get that buttered up. We're going to butter that up. We're going to get that buttered. There we go. Let's see, like slab onion lightly fried on my burgers. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Let me wipe my spot up there real quick. There we go. Move my milk off to the side, but not into the refrigerator. Rocket Caver, hey man, how are you? Okay, so we got that part going. Now we're going to bring our trivet back. We're going to put that up there. I'm going to get a glove on, and we're going to butter up that pan, and we're going to make some cornbread. Now the cornbread, according to the package, needs to be in there, I believe, 17 to 22 minutes. So that's what we're going to do, 17, 22 minutes. Add a little bit of time onto this, a little bit of heat up here. I don't want to get this grease too hot too early. So we got that. We get our pan up here, which should be heated up where we need it to be, nice and hot. There we go. And then we'll get our butter in there. Our butter going all on the inside, all to the inside, anywhere all the nooks and crannies. There we go. That smells good. I think it smells good just with the butter. There we go. And you can hear that sizzle going, which everybody loves. And we'll add our batter to that. It looks pretty thin, doesn't it? Boy, I don't know about all that. That looks really thin. Did I read that package wrong? I could be. Hope I didn't. I didn't put too much. Half cup milk, 1 egg, yeah. But that just, I don't know. That's looking pretty, kind of thin for batter. Let's hope for the best, I guess. Let's hope for the best. Let's get a spatula and scrape about as much of that flour out of there as we can get. But yeah, that looks thin. There we go. Oh well. Cooking in real life. Things happen. Okay, so there's that. Get this out of the way. Into my sink full of dishes. And get that in there. 400 degrees. See what happens. 15 to 20, 17 to 22 minutes. So we're gonna go 20 and we'll check it. There we go. All right, so there's that. Okay. I know it's a really thin batter, Rocket Caver. That was really thin. Let's hope that pans out. You see what I did there? Pans out. So yeah, we'll hope for the best on that. So what we're gonna do now is we'll move this out of the way. And normally I would do this on the table. I would make this part on the table, but I don't have that luxury tonight. So, Rocket Sweet Cornbread. Stripping Stumpy for flaking and seasoning. Okay, so anyway, we've got, what we'll do is we'll get, where's my bag? So we're gonna get a half a cup of flour, regular all-purpose flour, into this bag. Hold this bag over here, like yay. So it sort of, I'm hoping that it sits up to a certain extent. There we go. So we're gonna do a half a cup of flour of regular all-purpose. If I can get it out. I know this is wanting to come out in one big to-do. So, okay, so we got that. So we got a half a cup of all-purpose flour. And then we're gonna do a half a cup of the Kentucky kernel flour. And get that in there. And our dredge is done. So there's that. So that part's finished. We'll just pop that up, shake that up, and get it mixed together. And there's that. Done, done, done. And like I said before, I do it that way so that, because the Kentucky kernel is really a strong, strong flour. It's super, super strong with salt and everything else. So the little bit of all-purpose flour I add to that kind of tones it down, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So then for the next trick, I'm going to break out another egg, and we're going to do what they do at Kentucky Fried Chicken as an egg wash, and we're going to do that. Let me check the temperature on my grease back there, on the oil, and see where we're at with that. Let me see here. Let's see where we're at. So far, okay, so there's 300. 310. I don't want to get it too far ahead now because I got a ways to go on this. 315. Okay, so we'll add, make sure we're not getting a false reading here. There we go. Just add a little more heat to this because I want it to be ready by the time this is ready to go. Okay, and we'll just leave that sit right there. We'll leave that go as it is. Okay, so we got this bowl, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the egg wash. Now, with Kentucky Fried Chicken, they don't use the entire egg. They only use part of the egg. They use just the white. At least in 1987, when I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken, they did not use the whole egg white, or the whole egg. They just used the egg whites on that. So there we go. So we got this, where we separate our egg. Hopefully I do a little better job on this egg than I did the last egg. Separate that part. And that part. So we got our egg white in there. There we go. Let that off to the side. Throw that part into what will soon be the recycling or the compost pile. And then we're going to add a little splash of milk. Splash milk. And some water. Actually, it is water. That's what they do that with. So, it's mostly water. Water there. There we go. There. And some water. And while I'm letting that sit for a second, I'm going to take that temperature again, because I want to hit this right at 350. One of these days I'm going to get an instant thermometer, so we can do this so I can just do this without having to check it a million times. So I'm at 325 right now. I think I'm just gonna, because I want to kind of have it all one and done. So I'm at 325. I want to go about another 25 degrees, and I'm gonna give these cream peas and onions a quick other stir, and theirs are looking real good. There's that. It wants to pick up that one ramp and just keep it into the whisk. And we'll grab another whisk, and we'll whisk this all together. The egg, milk, and water. For that wash. There we go. Now, if you have more chicken to do, you can add another egg or whatever, but this is the KFC style. That's how KFC does it. We'll set that off to the side. Put that there, and we're going to get our chicken, which I have about a pound of chicken because it's just me tonight. That feels like more than a pound now. We got our chicken, and we're just going to let that settle up in there and let that sit for a minute. And we all know the trick. If you want extra crispy, once this is sat for a few minutes, we'll throw it into that bag. But if you want the extra crispy style, you throw it into the bag twice. Throw it back into the milk and egg wash, and it'll make you extra crispy. I don't know if I'm going to do extra crispy or not. I'm actually kind of concerned about how that cornbread is going to turn out. That was really thin. We're just going to hope for the best on that, I guess. Which I got a feeling that's not going to go over. That's going to go over like a lead balloon. Clean hand and chicken hand. That is exactly correct, sir. Gotta have that one clean hand to keep in the kitchen. Get that all nice and in there. I'm gonna actually stir that up just a little bit more. There we go. Stir that up just a little bit more with the whisk. And we're gonna check the temperature on that. On this part. Take that off. Over top of there. There we go. And our hands off. And I'll take this temperature. Now that's starting to look. Now that chicken, that oil in there is starting to shimmer a little bit. So I would imagine that that's about where we need to be. I've got the feeling. Because we're starting to get some shimmery oil. Yep, we're getting close. I'm at 346 and climbing. We'll move this lid out of the way because I don't think we're going to need this lid. There's no sense of dirtying it up. I could have used that for the top. I could have seen if that was going to fit on the top of my pickleware, which I've never done. Let's see. Yeah, you need the pressure cooker, but this is as good as we get without having a $5,000, $10,000 pressure cooker, my friend. And this is going to be pretty darn close. So let me move this other thing out of there, and we're going to start putting this chicken in, and we're going to get some chicken going. We got about 9 minutes until the cornbread supposedly is going to be done. I'm kind of iffy about that all, to be really honest. I'm real iffy about that. So we just got our dretch bag, and we'll put these in there, and we'll put a couple of the smaller pieces into there. There we go. Put you guys in there like that, and like so. And we'll just shake that up. There we go. That in there. That in there. Take this glove off so I can do it, because gloves are cheap. I don't mind going through. I don't mind going through a bunch of gloves either. That doesn't bother me. That does not bother me in the slightest. And since we know that oil is ready, we're just going to shake that off and come over to here and start putting this in. Could have used just a smidge more oil, couldn't I? Or smaller pieces, but not strips. They'll get there, and we'll turn them. There's that. That. Sure we get them all. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit those last two in here. Yeah, there we go. Another piece in there? I think that's it. Yeah, I could have used just a smidge more oil, but whatever. It'll be alright. And we'll do them till they start to float. I might have to turn the other one. I might have to turn a couple, but that'll be alright. That'll be okay. So we got that there. We got about 7 minutes left on the cornbread. Let's take a look at how that's looking. I think our cornbread's going to be fine. It might have just had us look. This might have been deceiving us a little bit. Best piece of fried chicken is fried. My favorite piece on the grill, if I'm just grilling, not barbecuing, if I'm just grilling chicken over an open flame, my favorite piece is the thigh. Never used to be, but I'm a changed man. You can change your mind. Let's see. I'm gonna get another bowl, and we're gonna fill with our paper towels with some napkin at the bottom. Let's see. How about the new Pope? I haven't seen the new Pope. My parents are Catholic. I never. My mom's Catholic, I should say. Not my parents, my mom. And I grew up in a place where even though my mom was Catholic, we were 35 miles away from the nearest Catholic church. So that got me out of Catholic school and and getting communion. So I never did that. Let's see, they could make the same thing every week and I would still watch. Let's see. And I'm really excited. I mean, I haven't used this, that BSR chicken fryer in a while. Probably since winter. And I really love this thing. I think this is just a cat's ass. And if everybody, and most people know, I'm not a BSR collector at all. I just got this because it was $35 at Goodwill. And my intention was to flip it. But then I found out it was flat. It sits flat, doesn't spin. Which for a chicken fryer in Wagner country, that's just, you never get a chicken fryer that doesn't spin. So that and it's just became so useful in my kitchen that I've kept it, and I'm really glad that I kept it, because it's become a really indispensable thing in the kitchen, and it just cleaned up so nice. I mean, it's just one of those where you're doing when you're doing your restorations, and you hope that things come out. I mean, no matter how many times you do a restoration, you still hope that every time it comes out great. And that one, I mean, it just came out perfect. I just had absolutely no complaints about it at all. I couldn't have asked for a better restoration. And I did use cast iron cure on that. That's a cast iron cure restoration, which usually most of mine are all cast iron cure. I use beeswax seasoning for just about everything. I am going to give these. I didn't have as much oil as I thought I did, or I would have picked up more oil. But that was all the vegetable oil that I had. I've got a little. I guess I got a little bit over in this jar next to me. We'll flip that over so they get a little even there, getting even. And they're not going to be, when you use brand new oil too, it can be kind of deceiving on whether or not it's done or not. But I think the last two pieces, we're going to extra crispy those. We're going to make those extra crispy. We're going to dunk them twice. Going to do the double dunk. Move some of this stuff out the way. There we go. Make ourselves a little bit of room, because I'm going to plate this up here pretty quick. And we still got a little bit more left in the stream to do. Well, we're making good time. We haven't even been into it cooking for more than 50 minutes, and we've gotten pretty far with everything. Like I said, I'm just giving a second to sort of clean up my spot as good as I can do it. Throw our handle back on there before I decide to grab that with my bare hand, which, I mean, let's just say I've done that a few times before. We got about just under 3 minutes left on the cornbread, and I'm hoping that we're going to be pleasantly surprised with the cornbread. I'm hoping. Hope. Hope to the new pope. We're going to, that we get that together. Did they pick a new pope? Did I miss that they picked a new pope? I've kind of been out of the loop today, so I didn't see if they did or not. I just purchased a good camera. I'll give it a try in a couple weeks. Let's see, Cynthia needs Meals on Wheels. Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. Let's see. Gonna have to go to the fish's house for chicken. Cynthia Wesley, did you buy the Griswold number 6 groove-handled skillet? Number 5. Oh, okay. Now, if I'm right about Griswold, isn't that the Griswold that is toward the end of the Griswold run when they have the groove-handled skillet? There we go. They're starting to float around, aren't they? I'm gonna check my temperature. I think I'm going to have chicken strips again tomorrow, so I'm not even going to bother to take this grease out of there. And I've got, what is that stuff, Fry All? What's this stuff? I picked this up the other day, and I was going to give this a try. What is it? Fry Away, this stuff. Now, I used this once before, but I didn't use it correctly. So I'm going to use some Fry Away tomorrow when I'm done with my oil. Tomorrow or Saturday. I might strain it and reuse it again, but I don't think I will. I'll probably just end up getting rid of it, because I don't deep fry a whole heck of a lot. But the Fry Away, you just pour in there while the grease is hot, and then it gels up and you take it out, and then you don't have to. You can just throw it right in the trash instead of, like I do. I go out and soak my firewood in the fire pit with my old grease, and then make gravy out of the cracklings. That's what I do. And if this were an official KFC meal, that's what we would be doing, because that's what KFC does to make your gravy. They have a gravy mix, but what they do is those fryers, they have a trap, and it runs through a flat filter, And all that grease drains straight down. Like imagine if there was a hole in the bottom of this pan, it would come out the bottom and then go through a flat filter. And then what they do at the end is they scrape those cracklings off and add it to a mix. And that's what they make the gravy out of. So let's do a test on our cornbread and see what we got going on with that. Let's move this over to here. And there is still, luckily there's still, in a way luckily, in a way not, we've not seen the bigs just not made an appearance. So I'm going to test it with my tester, with my heat thermometer, and see how that comes off. Okay, so I guess for me and all the other doubting Thomases out there, that cornbread has come out real nice. Real nice. There we go. You guys see that real okay? That cornbread's in good shape. So we'll turn the oven off, and I'm going to move back our cream, peas, and carrots off of the regular heat, and I'm going to put them on the exhaust back here. I'm going to let this sit for a second over there. So the cornbread came out. I think our chicken is kind of where we need it to be. Yep, that's at 185. I want that other side to crisp up though. What's the temperature on this grease while I'm looking at it? I'm hoping we didn't lose a lot of temperature on that, where I got to leave it in there longer. Plus it didn't help that I didn't have enough. That went clear down to 280. I mean, I guess so, but come on now. Come on now. We want that crisp. We want that crisp chicken. Put that over. There we go. It's starting to float. Some of the smaller pieces are floating, but I don't. It seems like it's a little, because I didn't add enough oil. Seems like it's frying up where I want it to, as crispy as I want it to be. All right, but anyhow, we'll let that sit in there. Let me see how that looks. There, that's pretty crispy feeling. Feels crispy. Let me see there. All right. So we got our cornbread. I'm gonna flip that cornbread out and let that sit. Let that, well, I don't know. Yeah, let's take it out of there. Let's take it out. Just to say we did. Get that out onto a plate. And cornbread out. Let's see. So we'll move that over to there. And is it going to come out? Ooh, it might need a little prodding. It might need just a little bit of prodding in there. There we go. Nothing too serious, but just a little something. Is that in the shot there? There we go. And we had a smidge of stick, but nothing great for that one's maiden cook. I'll take that. Now normally if I was to make cornbread, I wouldn't even make it in the skillet. I'd make it in my wedge pan. That's what I really like doing. And just to keep this stuff honest, we're going to throw, one of the things I like to do is just throw a big old pat of butter on there. And we'll let that sit and soften that butter up, and then we'll smear it toward the end. So there's that. Let's see, I belong to a club that has a Chicago hardware chicken fryer, just like the new Pope. It's from Chicago. They must have got a new Pope, huh? And I'm just out of the loop and didn't know it. That must be what's going on. I must not know. I must not be in the loop with the new Pope. Oh well. A lot of white smoke. A A lot of white smoke for one guy, huh? Let's see. I just use one pan for the cornbread. I just use one pan for cornbread. Yeah. Yeah. One pan for cornbread, exactly. Oh, you mean, oh, and then to serve it? Yeah, I got you. I got you. But it's just me eating it tonight, so I'm going to have to wrap it and it's going to get wrapped up, put in the thing and then gone. So that is crispy enough for me for that one. Those are crispy. Then we'll do an extra crispy for the last piece. And then we are going to go from there. I think this looks pretty good. I think that looks real good. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah, you guys can see it. I think that looks real good. Yeah, I wish it was pressure cooked myself, but it's not. So we'll get that, and then we'll put that off to the side for a second. And then we'll do these last. I got one or two more pieces left of the chicken. And then the chicken's history. And then we'll plate some stuff up, and we got some other stuff to do. So let me put a glove on and do all that. We'll set that right there. Cause man, this is gonna be good. Now this last piece of chicken's pretty big, so I hope that I'm gonna have to do a lot of flipping. There's one of the youngsters so far. Let's see, I eat that. Well, I hope you would. It's gonna be real good. It's gonna be real good. I mean, let's see here. So we got one or two pieces left of that, and hopefully I got enough. Yeah, I should have enough flour. So we'll just throw this piece in, and this piece in, and this last piece. There we go. And throw that around on there. And then we'll get it back out because we are going to extra crispy this round. So we're going to extra crispy, extra crispy, extra crispy. There we go. And we'll just flip that around real quick. Doesn't take much, just a little bit back in there. Into the flour. And if you're going to do extra, if you need more flour, I would suggest adding the Kentucky kernel back in instead of the regular flour, just to keep it honest. There we go. There's that. Flip that around a little bit. Make sure we got a good coating without getting out more flour, which, no reason to be redundant here at this point in the game. Put that in there. Yeah, that one's good. That was a big old piece there. These are going to fit. Let's see. And then there's this one. All right. So I can get rid of that now. Get rid of that. And we'll move that cornbread out the way. Like I said, for the giveaway at the end of the show, please be subscribe and like the show tonight. Which I'm not going to harp on that too much, but if you're in for the win, then that's what you need to do to get it. And I'm not big on technology, but I do, and I'm definitely not big on rules. But I am going to be a stickler about that one. So there we go. So we got that. I'm going to make a little space here so we can start divvying up our delicious goodness. And I will keep this out there, but I'm going to need to wipe that spot up with some of that old-fashioned Lysol. Keep my counter clean and disinfected. Gotta use that Lysol to make my grandma proud. Both my grandmas always used Lysol, and they use the old brown stuff, not the frilly stuff in the blue can. Get our space cleaned off. See where that grease is at now while I'm wiping that area off. Oh yeah. We're right at 349. There we go. 349 for the last round. There we are. Okay. We got our space right there. And for the last round for the giveaway, you're going to want to have your little digits ready to go because it's going to be trivia. And it's not going to be anything. If you're a cast iron collector or an enthusiast, this should be pretty darn easy for you. But just in case it isn't, but it won't be a number draw. It won't. And Cynthia, don't worry, sweetie. It's not going to be long and drawn out. This is just going to be for tonight. But it's going to be who's first. It's not going to be numbers. It's not going to be any of that stuff. It's going to be who gets it first. So there we go. And as soon as we plate this up, and I have a little bit of this delicious goodness, we will go to our giveaway. That sound good? Let's see, Val. You can't pass my dogs. Oh, uh-oh. Sounds like it's getting a little. Sounds like it's getting a little. It sounds like it's getting down. Everybody's about to get down, huh? Okay, that's all right. You guys have all the fun you want in the chat. That's what it's there for. That's what the chat's there for. You guys, it's uncensored. No beagle, no love. I know, right? Well, I think once I start, I cannot believe this dog has slept with this, but has just slept through this whole thing. But she has, and that's just so surprising to me. But her and Ming had to go back, left unexpected, or had to leave early. Ming was supposed to be here today, but had to leave a few hours ago. And she was playing with the beagle all day long. They were doing their thing all day. So that might have something to do with it. The dog could just be a little worn out. The dog could be a little worn out. Let's see. No beagle, no love. That's funny. No beagle, no love. Maybe I should put that on her t-shirt. Ming keeps wanting me to have t-shirts made up for the channel with the dog. I'm like, I think that's going a little too far. Let's see. Now my new dog is a 3-pound Pomeranian. Oh, that's fun. I like Pomeranians. They're cool. Let's see. I never had a dog that didn't like me. I'm sweet. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. People don't deserve dogs. Dogs are just too. They're a special thing. I'm glad I have mine because having a dog they're trying at times, but they're definitely cool to have around. See how these look. Man, that's just like that little piece right there. I'm gonna take its temperature, but I'd say that little fella there is ready to go. He's ready to get on the plate. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of meat to that, so that extra crispy looks nice. Looking good. Oh yeah. Cream peas and carrots. I'm really stoked about the peas and carrots because I'm the only one that likes them in my house. And especially to have them with ramp, that's gonna be super fun. That's gonna be right up my alley. And we're here, and we've only been doing this for about an hour and 15 minutes, which is, for one of my shows, is almost like just a commercial. I do tend to drag it out. There we go. Well, I'd say this one's probably done too. Dig that bad boy out. Oh yeah, right at 195 for that. I think that one needs a little extra attention. But the grease should be right up there. I'm going to start turning that down. Yeah, the grease is at 360, so that's maintained. Let's maintain a little better. We're at 1. I'm getting 2 different readings on that. Hold on. So I got to go to the thick part of this. 165 exactly. But I don't trust it. This one's going 161 in the front of that real thick part. So we'll let that play ball a little bit longer. You can see that it's still dripping out a lot of water out of that, moisture out of the inside. So, well, that's doing pretty good. Get my drink opened up. There we go. And there we go. Get a straw for my drink. And we're just about ready to plate these up and have some fun with some trivia. Dude, put that thermometer down. What? It's got a few different pieces. No, it'll be just fine. It ain't gonna be chicken jerky. Come on now. Give me some kind of credit. Got that extra crispy. There we go. Turn that off. Turn that off, but I'm gonna leave the grease on the back. I'm gonna leave that oil on the back so it doesn't, just for some food safety, so I don't accidentally hit that and scald the beagle. We don't want any scalded beagles at all. No scalded beagles. And I got this tonight. I love those little dollar sections there at the grocery store where they have all those little things you can try out. I've been wanting to try this Mike's extra hot honey for a while, so I'm gonna give that a day in court because I really like honey on my chicken. So that's where we're gonna go. So let's go ahead and we're gonna plate this up. Yeah, we definitely don't want to cook the beaks. We don't want to cook the beaks. Like I say every week, I do not want to explain that to the vet. That's a tough one. Plus I don't want nothing to happen to my dog. I like my little dog. My little silly goofy dog. I do like that dog. Okay, so anywho, let's start getting this up there. I'm gonna take some of these little pieces, that fresh hot. Ooh, that piece came up. See how that just came right off? It's nice and crispy. That is nice and crispy. Get some of that extra crispy. Which would be really fun is if I had if I went and had some of that, could make gravy, but I'm not gonna make gravy out of that's a making chicken gravy is kind of a whole other show sometimes. So let me get this around to the front so I get my thumbnail, because that's important. And a lot of weeks I don't always get that, so let's do it that way. I like eating chicken with my honey. Yeah. Yeah. I think I got where you're going with that. But then we'll get our cornbread out. I had it in the oven so it would stay warm. I like to put a little bit of, when I have chicken gravy though, I do like a little bit of the gravy to put on my cornbread. I don't know if that's just something I like to do, but that is something I like to do. So let's cut that up and see how this looks. This cornbread's come out real nice. If I cut it good. Let's see there. There's that cornbread. Oh man, that's nice and moist. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. And let me get a scooper. Let me break up the blue streak so we can get our peas. And a minute. Ooh, that wind's kicking up, coming in through that patio door. I can feel it coming from the other, out there. Let's see. And we got our cream peas. There we go. There we go. I want a nice big pile of those. Try out. It's a little thick, but is what it is. I like them. I like mine that way. There we go. And here we are. Okay, there we go. That's dinner. Put the gravy on the potatoes. Yeah, 100%. if we'd had potatoes tonight. But there is a little bit of potato in there. So, without further ado, let me grab my beverage of the night. Double the peas. I love homemade green bean casserole. Me too. I like a good basic green bean casserole. Now you can leave the fried onions on top. I can take it or leave it with the fried onions, but I do like a nice green bean casserole. Let's see what else. Let me see. Must be missing something. You need greens with the chicken and the cornbread. You know, Val, you're 100% right. And initially, when I thought I would have the whole ramp, I wanted to use the ramp leaves as greens tonight. Now, I'm not a big fan of collard greens, but I'm a real big fan of cutting ramp up and adding a little bit of vinegar and butter to that and frying that up, and that is really, really good. And unfortunately, when I got my ramp this time, it was the ramp was mush. The leaves of the ramp were mush, and I couldn't use any of them. And I tried my best to kind of move that and I even took them out of the bag and sort of tried to lay them out. And then when I did, they just fell apart. So that is what that is. And maybe next year, make your own white sauce with bacon for the green bean casserole. Yeah, you can do that for sure. Let's get a little pepper on here. And I'm going to get this stuff while it's hot, and then we'll do our giveaway. And then you guys can go on about your Thursday night. Now, I don't know, did Cast Iron Chaos have a show last night? I sort of stopped in to see if he was doing something, and it didn't come up for me, so maybe he did not. Let's see. So let's give our chicken a try. That's real good. Definitely KFC style, and the breading stayed on real nice. Because that's one problem a lot of people have with making deep fried anything is getting the crust to stick. And this is sticking on. You can see I can even pull that apart, and it still stays on there. The chicken's nice and juicy, and that honey is hot as. That's got a kick. But I like a nice kick. But that Mike's Hot Honey is not for the faint at heart. But it is super good. Let's try our peas. Make sure that our peas, and I want to get a big piece with this ramp. There we go. Still nice and hot. That's real good. I probably could have went a little lighter on the flour than I did, but that's how the recipe called for it. But I could have went a little lighter on the flour and a little more on the milk. But it's still good. Still tasty, but if you were trying to try and recreate this at home, I would definitely go a little lighter on the flour for the semi-roux at the beginning. With a little bit more butter. But that is what it is. Man, that chicken's good. That chicken. Forget the cream peas and ramp. Plus, there's not as much liquid in there without all the onions. Like I said, if you were here for the beginning, I only put about half of the ramp in there because of the flavor of the ramp is so strong. So that's really got a good oniony leek kind of flavor to it. And just a little bit for the sweet, sweet cornbread. I'm going to put a little bit of that honey on there. I'm digging on this hot honey. Now, I'll tell you, I'm going to be serious. If you don't like spicy, it's not for you. Because this is probably, and I like really spicy stuff, like hot wings and all that wasabi. I like all that hot stuff. So I would give this about an 8 as far as a hot scale goes. That hot honey. Cornbread's really good too. Yeah. You can't go wrong with Martha White, and it doesn't matter what style you choose. Martha White is way better. And I grew up on Jiffy cornbread. That's what my mom always bought. But Martha White, ever since I went to Cornbread Fest back in 2022 for the first time, I've been using Martha White everything. If I don't feel like making it from scratch, it's Martha White. And I've never been disappointed. I mean, we saw that. It looked really thin. But look at that now. It's got a nice crust on the bottom. It's not... there's no like spots in the center where it didn't get done. I did it for 20 minutes at the recommended temperature in preheated cast iron the way you're supposed to. It's got a nice spongy top and just a little bit of milk and a little bit of a little bit of milk and an egg. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Okay. So we're down to the last. Sorry for the bad manners. I was talking in my mouth. Cool. Yeah, Radagast. I wanted to do. I would. I've done homemade cornbread and I do like it a lot, but time constraints, and I knew we had a lot of stuff to do, so sometimes the box comes out in the Betty Crocker world. Let's see, Rick Stunball, what's up, buddy? Did you sneak in here and I didn't even see you? You just snuck right on in. All right, I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to get your fingers ready for tonight. It's going to be trivia, and the first answer I see on here is not the first in the. It's going to be the first one that rolls across my screen that I see. That's going to be who wins. To get your prize, you're going to have to send an address to my email, which is listed in the description at honeyjbadger, all lowercase, yahoo.com. It's in the description of the channel in case you don't see it, you didn't get it. You can get it there, but I'll give you guys just a minute or two to get your fingers ready. And we'll go, because this is cast iron trivia. And there's only one right answer, which is my answer. So, anyway. Rick, you are sneaky. You are definitely sneaky. I didn't see you come in at all. Okay, if you guys are all ready, like I said, we just got a couple more seconds, and then we're going to do it, and that's going to be it, and that'll be it for tonight's show. And then I'm going to eat and do my thing. But like I said, the winner is going to be the first one that adds the answer to the comment section, and the first one I see. So as soon as I see it, bingo, that's how it's going to go. Okay, so we all know that Pickle Favorite is my preferred cast iron of choice. I love Pickle Favorite. Started in 1915, 1916, and ran until about 1936. They made 3 different brands of cast iron. One was the Puritan that they made with Griswold for Sears and Roebuck. Then they made regular Favorite ware. What was the third brand that they made their economy line? Go. They made 3. They did Favorite Pickleware, they did Puritan, and they did one other one. They did 3 different brands, Pickle Favorite did, between 1915 and 1936. And it was their economy brand. Nope, sorry Larry Perkins. You guys can guess as many times as you want. There's no limit. Best to cook in was Favorite ware. let's see, I missed it. Cynthia Wesley, Pick with Favorite Wear. Pick with Favorite made 3 different kinds, 3 different brands of cast iron. One was Puritan that they made with Griswold as well for Sears Roebuck. The other one was Pick with Favorite Wear, and they did an economy brand that they sold as well. So out of those, so they did 3 different ones. Sorry, Bob the Builder. And it's actually, to give you a clue, it's the county in which they Favorite Wear was produced. That's what it's named after. Sorry, Bob. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. Best Made. I'm sorry. That, I believe, was Griswold. Rick Stumbaugh, you're the winner. Miami. 100%. Miami brand was their economy line. Rick, you are the winner. Email me your address and I will ship out your prize, which is, yeah, it was a guess. You get some cast iron cure. There you go, buddy. In the bag, with the bag, the storage bag, and there you go. You want a free cast iron cure beeswax seasoning. And just so you know, it's not empty. There is cure in there. There you go. So pure, you can see the honeycomb in it. There we go. All right. Congratulations, Rick. I Googled it too. That's okay. But yeah, Rick, I'm sure I have your address, but just in case, just go ahead and send it to me. Send it to my email and I'll have that out for you tomorrow when I send out the rest of it. Yes, Val, everybody, thank you so much for showing up tonight. Can I put cast iron cure on my beard? Yes, you probably can. You probably could. You probably could. I don't know. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It's probably got a nice hold. I've never tried it. I think I have mistaken it I have mistaken it a couple times at the shop. I've mixed up unlabeled cans of beard balm for unlabeled cans of cast iron cure and taken them home. And it took me like one use to figure out where I messed up, but I've done that before. Yeah, hey, you guessed right. Oh, Val, I love it when you guys show up. Thanks, Larry. Thanks for showing up, Larry Perkins. Val, thank you so much. Radagast, Fuzz Fork 8, Cynthia Wesley, Corey Clark, Greg Hart. Thanks everybody for showing up. I'm sure I missed some folks, and even the ones that showed up. William Hurt, thank you so much for showing up. Yeah, you guys stay safe. Everybody, all you mothers or dads that have to do both, happy Mother's Day to you. It doesn't go unappreciated, and hope you had a good time. Definitely try out the chicken. The chicken, it does work. Try out your Kentucky Colonel. That's the best chicken coating I've ever tried. Like I said, leave out a little bit of the flour on the cream peas, and those should come out a little better for you. But it's cast iron in real life. So, Granny Graham, thank you so much for showing up as well. And I appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. Yep. All right. You just remember, you guys, your kitchen's your own restaurant and make it any way you want. And I will see you guys real soon in the comment section. See you.